Pahlavi text translated by EWS, Part 3, Dinai Mainogi Khirad, Clarendon, Oxford University Press, 1885, Chapter 37. The sage asked the Spirit of Wisdom thus: through how many ways and motives of good works do people arrive most at heaven? The Spirit of Wisdom answered thus: the first good work is liberality, the second truth, the third thankfulness, the fourth contentment, the fifth wanting to produce welfare for the good and becoming a friend to everyone, the sixth being without doubt as to this, that the sky and earth and every benefit of the worldly and spiritual existences are owing to the Creator Auharmast, the seventh being so as to the unquestionableness of this, that all misery and affliction are owing to Aharman, the wicked, who is accursed, the eighth, freedom from doubt as to the resurrection and future existence, the ninth, who for love of the soul affects a next of kin marriage, the 10th, who arranges adoption, the 11th, who practices regular industry, the 12th, who is without doubt in this pure good religion of the Mazda worshippers, the 13th, who is kindly regardful as to the ability and means of everyone, the 14th, who perceives the kind regard of the good and becomes himself also kindly regardful as to the goodness which one wants among the good, the 15th, who seeks the affection of the good, the 16th, who keeps malice and uncharitableness far from his mind, the 17th, who bears no improper envy, the 18th, who forms no desire of lust, the 19th, who produces no discord with anyone, the 20th, who brings no distress into the affairs of a departed and unassisted one, of the Gid, the 21st, who lets no wrath into his body, the 22nd, who commits no sin on account of disgrace, the 23rd, who forms no desire of lethargy on account of laziness, the 24th, who is without doubt as to the sacred beings, the 25th, who is without doubt as to the existence of heaven and hell, and the account which is to be rendered by the soul, the glory which is in heaven, and the misery which is in hell, the 26th, who abstains from slander and envious looks, the 27th, who causes the happiness of himself and gives happy advancement also to others, the 28th, who becomes the help of the good and accuser of the bad, the 29th, who restrains himself from deceit and evil, deceit, the 30th, who does not speak false and untrue, the 31st, who restrains himself firmly from the promise breaking, the 32nd, who for the sake of seeking his own benefit and happiness causes the abstinence of others from evil, and the 33rd, who provides lodging, accommodation for the sick and secluded and traitors. You know, with the D, not the. So in verse 36, see chapter 15, verse 6. Does not speak false and untrue. 33, refer it to 36, verse 29. Who becomes the help of the good in verse 31. L19 has helper. In verse 32, who restrains himself from deceit and evil, dusi. L19 has havad doshi, self-content. And 29, abstains. L19 has restrains himself from. I'm not sure. It says restrains himself. And verse 25, no sin on account of disgrace, that is for fear of disgrace. Yeah, there's a lot of coercion that leads people to do so. Oh, I'll tell if you don't do this other bad thing. And, who commits no sin on account of disgrace, that is for fear of disgrace. Verse 24, who lets no wrath. L19 has keeps. We're naturally angry and oppose certain actions and stuff, but we need to separate this from what lack of love, is that the term that we're looking at? Of a departed and unassisted one, Abigid. Nergasong reads Havazid, which he identifies with the Persian Hazid, concealed, secluded, and which might mean taken in the sense of one who has crawled, meaning a young child, but identification is doubtful. 17, who perceives. L19 has transposes the two verbs proceeds and wants. And Okay, verse 13, who arranges adoption. Narayasanga explains in Sanskrit thus, that is, whoever becomes a spirit childless maintains any man with his wealth for his fame and his lineage, then thus the soul too is for an increase of good works. And the ninth, for who for the love of the soul affects, whether for himself or for another, its uncertainty, chapter 4, verse 4. And yeah, you're given credit for what you take part in. If you allow something, that's why when it comes to consent and multiple issues, if you say no or resist, then, if it's something done by others that you have to witness, sometimes you can't say anything. It's like, dude, this is not right. But you just don't take part in it at the very least. 10, being as so to the unquestionableness of this, by the transmission of the two words, L19 has freed from doubt for this, and liberality, compare chapter 4, which divides good works into 7 classes. Now, when I say conservative and liberal and stuff, I don't mean like what they say liberality is a good deed. I mean liberal as in a type of approach to religion where you let go of religious and family values for, your sake or, popularity or whatever. That's what I mean by liberal. So both the liberal and conservative kind of usurp some rights in a sense. The liberal tends to usurp the rights of others more than himself. The conservative will restrain themselves based on others' opinions. Fundamentalists, as far as, what really is the case of the religious traditions, the good and truth that has been preserved in the tradition, going straight to the sources and stuff like this. This is what fundamentalism is, rather than as the term for hate speech. And a reform is somebody that says they get the spirit of it, but they're going to make some changes. And the Zendik that we previously talked about, that's probably what they're referencing.